Welcome to Modern Motoring. We are with the 2025 Mini Cooper S. It is the mid-trim, it is part of an all-new generation, and this is the convertible. So you have to be under 30 kilometers an hour to open and close the roof in motion. It's a 3-in-1 roof, so it's closed, and part of it opens like a sunroof, and then all of it opens. So let's get the first part done. So that's the sunroof aspect, and then push it again. Retractable top movement complete. I'm going to close up the windows to get rid of the wind. Come on. And the back windows. And okay, looks like we're all set. So let's go through some baseline numbers, perks, quirks, and irks, and we'll jump into pricing to wrap things up. So 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Horsepower is up this year. It used to be 189 horsepower, 206 pound-feet of torque, but now it's 201 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque. Still front-wheel drive, so that little extra bit of power definitely helps. The Mini is wider than it was before, but it still carries the same length. Let's jump into fuel consumption because, well, it kind of matters a little bit, not too much. So with the convertible, we are at a combined liters per 100 kilometers of 7.9. But you go for the fixed top, and that turns into 7.4. So you lose half a liter per 100 kilometers if you opt for the convertible. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. If it was something big like 2, 3, 4 liters per 100 kilometers, maybe I'd care a little more, but for half a liter, not so much. Starting off with the perks, it still drives just like a little go-kart. It is so nimble and agile, and considering the weight of just a little over 3,000 pounds, sure, that 201 horsepower, 221 torque doesn't look like a lot when you're looking at the spec sheet, but again, because of its small footprint and lightweight, it really moves and it goes, and it's still carried on that excellent series of driving dynamics that the last generation Mini had. It's easy to drive, it's easy to park, it's very maneuverable. So yes, there's a 360 cam that's available as part of a package. I don't know if you really need it. The asterisk being with the roof up, and if you do your shoulder checks, all you're seeing is a bunch of the inside of the roof, big blind spots in your C-pillar, but that's not a Mini Cooper convertible case. That's in any convertible case. So, maybe if you are doing a lot of urban driving and you're backing into parking spots like you should, or again, just a lot of driving with other vehicles around, maybe consider that package that has a 360 cam. Mini's up their game as far as standard safety goes, thankfully. So now with the 2025 crop, we get blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, forward collision warning, and rear cross traffic alert, and everything else is available through our package. So, some beats none, and I keep saying it in almost every video. I'm so happy that automakers are moving to make more active safety features standard, as opposed to nickel and diming you and making you go through packages for, well, all the essential stuff. I know design is very subjective, but I do want to mention that this still looks like a Mini through and through. And yes, the design lines are a lot smoother. There's a lot more of the minimalism side for the exterior. Again, still identifiable as a Mini, just like a Jeep. Whether it's this generation, last generation, generation before, you can still tell it's a Jeep through and through. And same thing with the Mini. The 9.4-inch OLED screen is both in the perks and the irks pile. On the perks side, the graphics are extremely high res. There's so much jammed in here. There's minimal lag, and it presents itself extremely well. It's circular, it's planted right in the middle, and I kind of miss having that behind the steering wheel. It was a head-up display here, but I think as far as modernizing the Mini, they've done a good job as far as the graphics and how it reads out toward the driver. There are voice controls here, and they're pretty good as far as modern standards go. Not the best in class, but good enough to get by with minimal hiccups, minimal interruptions, and that'll lead more into the irk side of things later on. But I do want to say that I like how they've designed the screen. I like the technology. I like the guts of the Mini operating system version 9. You can get adaptive suspension here, and it's only $600, and that's a big perk. Usually an adaptive suspension will run you in and around $1,000, if not more. this is equipped with it through MINI Canada. So if you're looking for something that has a bit of an exclamation point to the ride and a little more than what comes out of the box, you know, spring for that $600, or at least consider springing for that $600 for the adaptive suspension. This is a subjective perk. I like it, you may not, but there are so many experience modes. And yes, there's an Eco, Sport, and Normal, which they call Core, but there are a few others that bring back those retro style graphics for your, well, I'm gonna say main screen, but pretty much your only screen here. So I'm going to count that as a perk because it gives drivers an option for what they want visually. Onto the Quirks side, and the 3-in-1 roof is right at the top. I could have put it in the perks pile because it's very versatile, because you don't always want to, or maybe the weather won't let you have the convertible top open all the time. So having that middle option of doubling it, or I guess tripling it as a sunroof, is a pretty cool quirk. The controls for this 3-in-1 roof are kind of backwards to me as far as intuitiveness goes. I want to be able to push the button forward just like my hand's going and have the roof close, and when I pull on the switch backward, my hand goes backward and I feel the roof should open, but it's just flipped. This is not a quirk for the 2025, it's been here before, but the trunk falls downward as opposed to lifting up, and I know the mechanics behind it. It's a convertible, you can't put it up because it's got nowhere to go, but it's always been a bit of a quirk to me on that side of it. Just falls down. Now you can put some weight on it. It's up to 176 pounds, so I can almost be able to sit on it within the weight rating by a few pounds. 160 liters with the roof down, and you close up that roof and it goes up to 215 liters. You can get all three trims in convertible form. That's kind of a cool quirk. Could be a perk, but let's fill up that quirk side. And rare to have everything in convertible form because convertibles aren't really all that popular, and I wish they were a little more on the popular side, but you know, we're in Canada, we get varied climates, and I'm happy that MINI had made the decision to do that. The last quirk is with the new setup. MINI has the start-stop button mimic a key turning. So you can turn it to the right, turn it to the left. It's a little on the flimsy side, I feel. I hope that people don't twist it too hard because I feel there's a high risk of breakage. Onto the Irks side, and staying with the starting and stopping of the vehicle, the auto start stop is very intrusive. You feel a lot of it, the car shakes, it's not very smooth, and to disable it, you have to do it every single time you start the car. It's a 3-touch system, so you go hard touch button, screen, and then back to your home screen. So it's pretty annoying. I don't like it, and it just puts so much extra wear in your starter. There is no manual transmission option. It is only a 7-speed DCT. Makes me a little sad the way the auto industry is going, and yes, there are a few that are hanging on to it, but I think part of the big allure for the Mini Cooper being so fun to drive was shifting your own gears, right? The whole go-kart mentality, go-kart feel. It's small, it's nimble, it's agile, it's quick, it's just very excitable, I think is the best word I can use for it. And yeah, these 7-speed DCT perform as well, but I don't want to shift as fast as a computer can, because I know I never will. I just want the power to shift my own gears at my own time, my own RPMs, and a little sad that's taken away. The new generation sees a drastic reduction in physical buttons. What I'm looking at here is a volume dial, the experience modes, the start, stop, twisty, and your gear selector. And park is a button you push and you get your front and rear defrosters, hazards, a shortcut menu to get to things like your shutting off the auto start stop and your parking camera. And that's it. Everything else is through the screen, and I think it's a little too minimal. I know that's the trend now. It's been the trend for a few years, but I'm personally not a fan of it, and that leads me into the Irks for this 9.4-inch OLED screen. I think there's too much of a reliance on it for regular functions. All of your HVAC is done through here. Well, actually, pretty much everything is done through here, and the learning curve isn't too steep, but part of the problem that I see is that a lot of the buttons are small. To get my heated seat on, I've got to be extremely accurate in where I touch the screen, and sure, I can use the voice controls, but sometimes it's quicker just to reach out the, what is that, like 3 inches to get to the screen from where my right hand is. I know that based off this design, there's no space for it, but we're having so much of reliance on this screen for so many things. And if anything happens to the screen, you're kind of in a bad spot. Let's wrap up with pricing. So in Canadian MSRP figures for this specific 2025 Mini Cooper S convertible, we're at $46,990. If you want the fixed top version of this specific car, that brings it down to $39,990. If you want the base trim convertible, which is the C, that's $4,000 less at $42,990. And if you want all the power, all the performance, everything that Mini has thrown in to their 3-door convertible, which is the JCW, that's all the way up at $58,990. I think the S is the volume seller because there's a lot of value here, and for only a few $1,000s more, you're getting a decent performance upgrade over the base C trim. Not everybody wants or needs the JCW for its power, performance, and just exhilaration, and there's a market for it for sure. But if you are looking at a Mini 3-door convertible, I feel most people will gravitate right to the middle trim. That's going to wrap it up for the 2025 Mini 3-door convertible. If you have any questions of what you've seen, let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to engage in respectful conversation online, and I'm happy to get you answers as soon as possible. I invite you to join our social media platforms. We are on all of the major ones. Without you, there is no modern motoring. So I thank you, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.